Stay tuned for Retire Your Way with Dale Sudis, a leading financial retirement strategist and the founder of Sudis Financial and Insurance Solutions, right here in Fresno. Every week, Dale discusses pressing financial topics of the week, ranging from reliable income strategies to our financial markets, including Social Security, tax strategies, wealth management, RMDs, legacy planning, long-term care solutions, and most importantly, how to make sure you have enough guaranteed lifetime income to retire your way with choice and dignity. From taxes to trends to total transparency, Dale covers it all. And now, here is Retire Your Way and Dale Sudis. This is Retire Your Way with Dale Sudis of Sudis Financial. Mr. Dale Sudis, how are you doing this week? What is on your mind? Are you busy, or have things have been easy before the beginning here of tax season?
We have been swamped. It's been a good problem. We've been very busy. Sometimes I'm leaving, well after 6, sometimes 7. But it's a good problem to have, working with people, helping them. I don't rush anybody out. I'm not going to push anybody. Just we talk, we get to know each other. I try to get into their heads so I know what they want, and then I try to help them see how they can accomplish what they want without worry.
Fantastic. I wonder if your phone's been ringing a little bit. We talked about this last week. Federal employees across the country received letters about a deferred resignation. Again, we just want to let you know, Dale is a resource here. We are familiar with the TSP and the programs. Some states are trying to halt it or try to push out the deadline, which has theoretically already passed. But a lot of confusion, Dale. A lot of folks worried about retiring too early.
Yeah, I actually had one I got to talk to. It was very nice. And he had the letter. He had the, email, whatever.
He had it. Okay. All right. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so I crunched him in. That was an interesting day. And we crunched his numbers, and I just reassured him, you're okay if you take the buyout and so on. But then now, obviously, who knows what's going on with it.
Let me ask you, and you don't have to give away too much of this person. As a fiduciary, we don't do that. But was he married? Do you know if his spouse was working? Like, is the spouse going to continue to support, or was this
Good
person
questions.
not? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, obviously getting something like that is scary because, can I truly stop this great career of making good money? And his wife, I don't believe she was working.
Okay.
And so crunching numbers, we're looking at, can he, does he have to go find another job? I mean, he's going to get paid through the end of September, like we hear, but still, I was able to crunch numbers and show him, no, you'll be fine. You don't even have to go back to work. He did a great job of savings. He's in a position. They don't spend, like a lot of people, they just don't spend a ton. That's why they've saved money. So,
yeah, and that's nice. So you're saying, I think, kind of 60s somewhere, late 50s, early 60s, possibility of maybe going back to the workforce, of doing something different. But glad you're out there. Glad you're a resource for folks. And again, for federal employees out there, even if you didn't receive the letter yourself, if you're worried about your career, what's going on, and want to know exactly where you're at right now, as far as your financial planning for retirement, give us a call. 833-856-1382. You can sit down with Dale and his team, and it's no cost to you to have this conversation, right, Dale? There's no charge card at the door to come in and sit down with you, is there?
Not at all. In fact, I had a cute couple in earlier this week too. I was talking, and I'm picking on them a little bit, and they picked back. I go, no, if you're going to pick on me, I'm going to charge you double next time. So let's see, 2 times 0. What is that's like?
A whole bunch of zeros. No,
a whole bunch of zeros.
To sit down and have the planning conversation, the income conversation, a portfolio review, even for folks who are supposed to receive pension plans, you are welcome to sit down with Dale. He's experienced with all of these kinds of things here in the state of California. And you know what? It's not just our federal employees right now. It also made me think about over this last week, industries change all the time, Dale. And if you're out there and you're feeling that pressure, that uncertainty, maybe that new boss, you're feeling like, I don't even know if they like me. I don't know if I want to be here anymore. If you're close to retirement,
Yeah, I think one of my favorites, people come in and they are so tired of working and they don't, it's stressful, whatever. And I say, well, let's crunch numbers. See, do you have to keep working? And when I'm able to show them, look, you did well on savings, maybe you don't have $1 million. That's not the key. Maybe you only have a couple 100,000. And I show them they can still retire comfortably, do the things they want to do in retirement and not run out of money. And their income will keep up with inflation. And I put their income plan out to the wife's age 100. I want to show them, hey, even with inflation, your money will last. You'll be able to do all the fun things you want and so on. So it's really, how can you say it? Real satisfying to show somebody that you did a good job, you're okay, and you can get out of the rat race.
For your own complimentary Retire Your Way review, call Dale Sudas of Retire Your Way and Sudas Financial at 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Yeah, how much is enough? It's kind of answering that question. And then that begs another question from me to you, Dale, is, what would it take for somebody to say, okay, you're right. And let me look at this through a different lens rather than I got to keep working because I got to keep saving more. What would it take for our listeners out there to set the date? What would it take? I forget what guru I read this from or which version of my therapist I was talking to about when they say, when you set a goal, you also need to share it with people because it makes that goal real. Right. For instance, a long time ago, for me, it was those securities licenses. I was like, oh, I don't want to tell people I'm doing. What if I fail? What if I don't make it? But then I started to share with my inner circle and the amount of support I was getting from, hey, we know you can do this. If I say that, I can't go to the movie this week. I got to spend more time studying. You get the support rather than this thing that you're hiding. And maybe for folks out there, it's hard and they don't want to set that date because they don't know what they need to know, Dale, right?
Well, they're afraid of the unknown. Think about it. I can show people, I've had ones, and even within the last few years, where it's very clear. I show them your numbers are great. You're going to have more money than you could ever spend in your life. You can have a paycheck to pay the bills with inflation. You can have a paycheck to do all those fun things you want to do. And when the play stops, we can design a care check to keep you out of a nursing home, all of that. And then they still say, well, maybe I think I'll keep working for another year or two, even though they don't want to work there. And it baffles me. Yet when I really think about it, I think about, we're so used to going to work 5 days a week, year in, year out for 2, 3, 4 decades maybe. So that change is hard. I get it. But just like getting to this point, what did we do? We got through it. We adapted. We made changes. We pushed through. Retirement is going to be a whole lot easier to adapt to and to get through because likely you're not even going to have to spend as much. You're not buying clothes for work, professional clothes, or you're not driving as much maybe back and forth to work. But there's a lot of other things to it. So I want people to see, number one, you can do it financially. But then what are those concerns? What are those, well, what about or what if? Let's put those on the table and put it out there. Don't be afraid of picking that date because like you just said, if you said, hey, I'm going to retire December
next year,
31st of this year.
December 31st, or definitely within the next 2 years. I don't know if that's enough of a goal.
Pick a date. Let's say
pick a date.
You pick December 31st. I'm only working this year. And your spouse, your family, your friends, they know it. Then, like you just said, they're all backing you up. They're all encouraging you to do it.
Yeah. What steps? Hey, Bob, are you looking forward to it? Sally, are you looking forward to this? What steps are you taking? Have you sat down with somebody to help you with the planning? Have, the kinds of questions. And then you go, I haven't thought about that one yet. Or, when are you going to take your Social Security? And
how about the ones who have retired? Who so many of them tell me, oh, I wish I would have done this years earlier. And because they had the money. But they didn't realize they could. They just kind of, I'm in the rat race. I got to keep doing it. No, you probably don't. So take a little bit of time. Let's put our heads together. That's the reward I have in helping people. I get to see them enjoy their retirement.
You and I were looking at a video recently, and one of the phrases on there was, it might not take as much money as you think it does. On the other hand, over the last couple of years, we've also talked about how inflation has gone up, and maybe the target goal number has gone up because of things like inflation and healthcare costs. Interesting paradox. There's always two sides to a coin, right? So, maybe it doesn't take as much. So if you're out there and you're thinking, if you're somebody who's worked consistently, maybe your spouse has too, you're pretty close to paying off the house, the kids are taking care of themselves, or you didn't have kids. Is that maybe part of the group that maybe it doesn't take as much as you think it does?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, you basically, more and more people say, I'm able to do what I want when I want, they're not holding back, and they're able to do more things with, like you just said, the kids, the grandkids, they can travel, and things like that. People surprise themselves that they just don't need what they think they need in retirement, even though I design their plan based on what they think they need. And then they end up, I didn't spend all that much money. Yeah, they don't.
How exactly do you, as one of our radio listeners, set the date for your retirement? I want you to start thinking of like the wedding. You set the date on the wedding. You started telling everybody about it when it was going to happen. Let's set the date for your retirement, and then we'll help you figure out the steps. Call 833-856-1382 right now. Folks are standing by. They'll schedule your appointment. There's no cost to sit down with Dale. Leave your credit cards, leave your checkbook at home, leave your crypto account. We just want to have a conversation with you. Call Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial. We'll be right back after this.
Are you worried that you waited too late to start your retirement planning? That you waited too late to start saving? At Sudas Financial, we believe it's never too late to start planning for your future. We can help you develop a personalized retirement plan that is tailored to your current needs and goals. The team at Sudas Financial will sit down with you and provide an evaluation of your current path, including your investment strategy, tax planning, and risk management approach. We'll help you identify potential areas for improvement and work with you to create a retirement plan that is designed to help you work towards having financial security and peace of mind in retirement. It's not too late for you to get started with Sudas Financial. Call us today to schedule your complimentary retirement planning session. We believe we can help you get on the path to financial security and peace of mind in retirement. Call Dale Sudas and the team at Sudas Financial to get started on your own complimentary written financial plan. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Inflation has risen to the highest level in over 40 years, according to the April 2022 U.S. Inflation Calculator. Will your investments provide you the income you need in retirement? Are you losing purchasing power of your savings to inflation? Simply stated, if the daily cost of goods and services is 8% higher and you are earning 4% in your investments, that money buys you less of what you need. Right now is the time to act to be certain you have an income strategy that overcomes the effects of inflation. Get your own complimentary retirement income review by calling Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial and retire your way. 833-856-1382. You might have the savings you need today to weather this storm, but how will inflation affect your nest egg 5, 10, or 15 years from now? Discover the peace of mind you deserve. Call and ask for your complimentary, no obligation retirement income review from Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. This is Retire Your Way with financial advisor Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial right here in California. Go to Sudas.com if you'd like to learn more about Dale and his team and exactly what we do for you. Sudas.com, Soutas.com. That's Sudas.com. Dale, this is a time where there's a lot of news, noise, a lot of fluctuation in our markets, concern for especially those who are in retirement, Medicare conversations, Social Security conversations and worries right now. And you said, I think one of the best things that we can think about right now is kind of sticking to our fundamentals, sticking to the fundamentals, making sure that we're not reacting too much to that news and noise.
A lot of confusion out there for people, bottom line.
And I guess if you're withdrawing from retirement, if you're about to file your taxes for, again, here, the first quarter of the year, if you don't really have a plan, and the plan might be mentally, I don't want to run out of money and I'm going to spend as little as I can. But that's not really a written spending income financial plan, is it, Dale?
Correct. Yeah. Yeah. I don't want to run out of money, or I've got a lump of money. People are well, I got $1 million. I got 200,000. Okay. It doesn't matter what you have. It's, how do we put it to work in retirement to make sure your income will last, keep up with inflation and all that. So many people find that, it's encouraging. I had a young lady I'm working with, and she's ready. And I showed her very simply, use a little portion of what you've saved up. We're going to create some additional income. She's years before getting Social Security, and yet she's going to be A-OK. And even at a very low average, return on her money, she's still going to be leaving millions to her kids. And I said, you could adopt me, but she didn't. I don't know why. So.
Oh, Dale, come on. I know you're kidding around there, but
yes.
Yeah, well, thank you for saying that. A low amount in returns, and that's part of it. I don't think you need to be completely invested in the markets. So with news and noise and trying to stick to the fundamentals, maybe we can talk a little bit about that. If you got your spending money, your monthly money this month, next month, the following month after that, that really shouldn't be too exposed to the markets. We've got different horizons and different kind of goals of your money. How do you split that out for folks?
Just like we preach about the Baby Boomer Dilemma movie, they talk about the retirement red zone, which is the 5 years before and the 5 years after you retire. That's not the time to be gambling with your nest egg, because if obviously the market drops rapidly before you retire, you might have to keep working. If it drops very soon after you retire, you might not have enough. Depending on a lot of people think, well, I've got this lump of money, hundreds of thousands, whatever they have, okay? And they think, well, I'm just going to be able to pull a little bit off each month to supplement my Social Security and whatever. Yet that strategy with the ups and downs of the market fails more than half the time. Okay. So, how do you set up your income that it's going to be stable, predictable, keep up with inflation, and even last your whole life? Once you've got your income dialed in for what you need, what you want to, your paycheck to cover your needs, your paycheck, we keep saying this over and over. It was basic. Paycheck, playcheck, care check. Once your income is going to cover what you need for your life, your other money, then you could play the market or whatever. You're not worried about the ups and downs on some of your money because your income's not going to be affected by it.
So let me ask you, because you said a lot of folks will think of it as their big lump of money, right? The nest egg, whatever, the war chest, whatever you want to think of. But so are you saying not all of it has to be invested the same way?
No, not at all. Yeah, you don't need to do that.
No, not at all. It doesn't have to be invested the same way.
No, you don't throw all your eggs in that same strategy.
Well, let's not throw our eggs. They're going to break. And they become expensive again. So let's not throw our eggs anywhere.
Yeah, and you get all messy when I do. So.
Yes, I know. I got two left hands. So we want to make sure all of our eggs not in the same basket. So when you said the word, something like an annuity, are you saying that there's also then the invested that is part of the markets, but maybe not quite so risky? How do you do that?
Well, you can have different strategies. Even, most people know that right now. Maybe you're with a company plan and they don't give a lot of options, but you can have aggressive, I want to make as much as I can. Or you could be conservative and maybe not lose as much.
Dale, with
or
the
balanced,
acting, with your acting, so you're aggressive and you're conservative. Had two different voices.
Pretty good, huh?
That was very well done.
You didn't know I could do that. Don't worry, I didn't know I could do that.
Yeah, your dinner theater days, right? You must be doing more live events because you're working on your characters.
Oh boy. Anyway, so back to your question.
Thank you.
is you can have your assets managed in a variety of ways. You can have a system where like defensive. So you can have a system where the institutional managers are, when the market starts really going crazy, they move more to cash type items. In other words, get out of the risk and just kind of move to cash like normal people would do if they're studying the market every day, and you see things start really going crazy. You might pull a little bit to make sure a good portion's protected from the major downturns, and then when it starts shifting back upwards, you jump back in and ride the wave up. So there's a variety of strategies, but again, my focus initially for families is, how do you know your income will pay your bills and will last as long as you? How do you know? Once you know that, then how do you feel? If you know you could stop working and you have enough money to pay your bills, you have enough money to travel, spoil your wife. I hope I said it the right way, right? Yeah, I did. Wife. Spoil the grandkids, do the fun things, the hobbies, the sports, whatever it is you want to do. You have the money to do all that, month in, month out, year in, year out, keeping up with inflation. How do you feel about being retired? It takes the weight off of people's shoulders. See, then it's just a matter of, are you willing, to cut ties with work and get out of the rat race and start enjoying, retirement. So, and it's really nice when people can do it even in their 50s. So, you might be one of those. Well, could I do it that early? You might be able to.
To get your complimentary Retire Your Way review, call Dale Sudas of Sudas Financial at 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
But you won't know unless you come in and sit down and study those fundamentals and see kind of where you're at right now, especially if you're in those 50s and you're still working, right? So you've got your 401ks, your 403bs, your 457, the TSP, for those who do choose to stay there in our government workspace, or even, and so then we've got our militaries and then our municipalities. You've got your teachers, your firefighters, police officers, so there's all different kinds of ways to retire. But if you don't know what your fundamentals are, meaning what you need to get there and then what you're going to be able to spend and what kind of growth you need, we totally understand. Maybe you haven't been shown the fundamentals. Give us a call.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Dale.
I was going to say, I think it surprises people when they come in, because we even say it, leave your checkbook at home. I don't, you're not going to be writing a check to us. Come in. My initial visits are to get acquainted and really know what you want in retirement. Once I kind of get a good feel of, what you're about, then I can take you by the hand and start showing you ways to get there. And we're not into, you're not going to be pushed to do anything. We're not out to sell something. I just want to help you know. And if we can guide you, if we're a good fit, you like us, we like you, then you're going to know exactly how the tools, if any, are needed, how they work, and even how we get paid. People always say, how do you get paid? Why are you worried about how I get paid? If I take care of you properly, I don't worry about money, right? So, but it's not to push you into a product or something like that. It's helping you know your money will last. Yeah.
That's exactly what Dale and the team would like to help you with as well. Call 833-856-1382. Call it right now. Do you have somebody in the car sitting next to you? Have them dial it into the phone. We have folks standing by right now. They'll schedule an appointment for you, and you can sit down with Dale, his entire team. We will put together the plan. We'll review where you're at. In fact, you know what? It really just starts with a conversation. Are you ready? Are you worried? Are you concerned? But here's all I want you to think about this week. What would it take for you to set the date? What would it take, like the wedding, for you to set the date? Now, that date might be 6 months from now. It might be a year from now. It might be 2 years. It could be 5 years from now. What would it take for you to set the date? What information do you need to feel comfortable to set that date for your own retirement? Let Dale show you how he figures that out, and he will do that for you at no cost. Call the phone number, 833-856-1382. Say, I want to set my retirement date. I want to do it as soon as I can, at least know what it could look like. Call Dale right now, 833-856-1382. Don't worry, it's not interrupting the program here. In fact, we've got to go on to the bottom of the hour break. It's going to go to our call center. They'll schedule that appointment for you. More with Dale Sutis when we get back right after these messages.
Do you know how much you might be paying in fees within your retirement accounts? Just 1 or 2% in hidden fees can eat into your savings and potentially hinder your ability to achieve your retirement goals. But how do you know if you're currently paying these hidden fees, and how do you find them? Dale Sutis and the team at Sutis Financial can help you find the fees within your investments and explore solutions designed to assist with minimizing them. Take control of your retirement savings so that you can work towards keeping more of your hard-earned money. Call for your very own complimentary Retire Your Way review and fee finder report. Let us help work towards finding, exposing, and helping to eliminate those potential hidden fees for you. Call Dale Sutis and Sutis Financial today for your complimentary fee review. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
In your retirement spending plan, which accounts do you take from first to pay your monthly expenses? Your 401ks, 403bs, or 457s, or your IRAs, or your Roth accounts, investment, or savings accounts? Do you turn on your Social Security right away or delay? Do you use the growth from your mutual funds, ETFs, or bond funds first? Did you sell your business to create income, or do you have life insurance or annuity options? Or what about using HSAs for medical costs? Are you unclear if you have a retirement income strategy at all? You have accumulated assets for retirement for years. Now you need an efficient strategy to make certain these assets work together and last as long as you need them to. Call Dale Sutis of Retire Your Way and Sutis Financial for your own complimentary written income plan right away. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382. Or you can write Dale at dale@sutis.com. This is Retire Your Way with Dale Sutis, financial advisor and founder of Sutis Financial. You can get your retirement income plan done at no cost with Dale. Or would you like to review where you're at in retirement? Is your income, is your nest egg, your war chest, whatever you want to say, is it going to last all the way through your retirement years? Will it last for you? Will it last for your spouse as well? Have you taken into account things like going into long-term care, needing health care, the increasing costs of inflation? Could taxes change over time? We take into account the variables that might keep you up at night so you can go ahead and sleep better. Give us a call, 833-856-1382. Right now, folks are standing by to schedule an appointment with you and Dale Sutis. This week as well, we're talking about setting the retirement date. I love that. I love that concept. It's brand new to me. You actually brought me something, Dale, that I hadn't thought of myself. And I'm like, you know what? I like that idea. It's like, what would it take to get you to go, okay, next year or December 31st or, whatever it is.
Or June 1st.
Or June 1st or tomorrow.
Whatever. Yeah. I did have somebody. They initially, she goes, I want to retire yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And then when we really sat down, she's got a, realistic date, but it's still not too far off, this year. So that was encouraging. Because I had worked up the plan as if she didn't make any more money this year, and it still was excellent. She didn't, the money she's going to make for another 6 months or whatever wasn't going to change, the end result of her not running out of money. So it was good.
Okay, how about this? Because also on today's program, we're talking about sticking to the fundamentals. There's a lot of, I would definitely say news. I like to call it news or noise. And today's news seems to be news. There's worries about taxes. Will they remain the same? There's worry about Social Security. And taxes with that, a lot of with the word taxes. So when you say that you have looked at this person's plan and that person's plan and said that they're going to be okay, what if taxes don't remain the same? And by remain the same, I mean if they go up. It's not like just because you go into retirement, they lock in for you. The tax game changes. How are you feeling about taxes this week?
Oh, I just love them. Yeah.
The tax rates. The new administration hasn't been as much discussion this week. There was a lot of the federal stuff, and then there was the Social Security. But much discussion on this yet?
Yes and no. Mainly, okay, taxes. I try to help people be realistic. And it's funny, you talk to younger people and you say, I had one this week. I said, okay, so do you think 5, 10, 20 years from now, when you're retired, do you think the tax rates will be the same as they are today, higher, lower? What do you think? And he actually said lower. And I was like, huh? I kind of giggled. And he didn't realize that when U.S. Government officially started taxing U.S. citizens in 1913.
Yeah, 19. Oh, is it 1913? I'm going to look that up.
I don't know.
Yeah, wasn't the first tax
about
something?
1913?
Was it like 1%? Or was it 10%? I can't remember. I thought like the very first tax, and we'll look this up. Somebody out there is driving around listening right now, but go ahead. Keep talking.
But here's the point. Here's the point, okay? They started taxing citizens officially in 2013. And, today, if you make ton of money.
You mean 1913.
Whatever.
You said 2013 again.
I did do that again.
People are swerving in their cars right now. Like, what is he saying?
Yeah, they're going to change it in 2113. No. All right. So, yeah, a long time ago, they started taxing citizens. And what's interesting, today, if you make a lot of money, the highest marginal rate is, 37%, correct? But the average from 2013 till about our time was over 60%, if you made a lot of money, right? And people think, well, I don't pay 60%. No, you don't. But the point I'm getting at is tax rates were higher. And when Trump instituted this change, which became effective in 2018. I got the year right this time. It's supposed to sunset next year, so it's supposed to rebound upward a little bit, right? But now, what I try to point out to people also is they don't realize, like Ronald Reagan, when he made movies, he made 2 movies a year. Why? Because he made $100,000 on each movie, and anything above that, $200,000 back then, you paid 94% federal tax rate. So he was smart. He wasn't going to work for free, right? So again, the point I'm getting at, it also affects all of us who make normal amounts of money, right? So those rates go up. So as you make more, you step into a little bit higher and higher bracket. So to see him kind of like deer in the headlights, when I asked if you think it's going to go up, and he said, no, it'll be lower. And when I pointed out, no, realistically.
And tried not to, you were polite to not laugh at his face and go, I'm sorry.
No, I smacked him. I smacked him to the ground and picked him back up. No. Yeah, the point is, people don't realize you're just normal. We're all normal people. We just, I have to pay that tax. Okay. They don't know how it works. But the national debt, please don't think it's in the 30 trillion category. That's what they officially say it is, but the real national debt is 225 plus trillion.
Once again, Dale, people swerving right now all over the roads. What is it? They're swooning at their steering wheel.
Yeah, the point I'm getting at, for the government to slow down that debt, they've got to raise revenue. How do they raise revenue? Well, taxes will be one aspect. The other aspect is another type of tax is currently, if a married couple passes away, they can pass on almost 14 million.
14 million, yeah,
each.
Correct.
So about almost 28 million of assets to their kids without any federal estate tax, which that rate currently is at 40%. So if you have more than 28 million, you got 30 million, 2 million is going to be taxed at 40%, right? No big deal for most people. Well, what could they do? They could lower that exemption limit back down to 5 or 3.5 or whatever. Yes. Way back when my parents
even lower. They could go the opposite.
Oh, even lower.
Way.
They can go real low. Because way back, it was. I remember a time when it was $600,000 per person.
Call Dale Sudis of Retire Your Way and Sudis Financial for your complimentary Retire Your Way review. 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
And I can't remember when it was. If somebody looks up the year when George Steinbrenner passed away, like that was a year when the estate tax was nearly zero. Or maybe that was
2010.
It was 2000. Yeah. And was that what it was? Or was it like 600,000? Because like most of his estate passed to his family at no cost.
Exactly. It was a zero. There was no limit at that on one of the years. I think it was around 2010.
Yeah,
but regardless of that, the point is, the government can't keep, just printing money, so to speak. They can't. I mean, they do it, but be realistic. Yes, tax rates are going to go up. So how do we need to have that factored in for the what ifs in our plan as well, and we don't just blindly, the taxes are calculated in the plan, and we anticipate that it might be that you have more tax. So how do you get Uncle Sam out of some of the tax deferred accounts like your IRAs, your 401ks, your traditional type where, hey, I'm saving all this tax money today because I put, $10,000 into my 401k and that lowered my income for this year, $10,000. So I paid less, I saved $1,000 or $2,000 on taxes or whatever. Whoop-de-doo. You need to look at what are you going to be paying down the road when you retire on not only that $10,000, but what it grows to when every penny that comes out of that is going to be put on top of your other income. So it's going to be taxed at whatever the highest rate or bracket you've pushed your income into. So, and we need to teach our kids, how to save tax-free rather than tax deferred like we were told.
Right. Now, there's a thing about this. So there's the tax rates and there's the tax brackets. So the tax brackets are, I'm going to use round numbers because they are very specific numbers. But so let's say it's,
10,000.
And up to 60,000 or something. And that's a 10% bracket. And, the numbers are out there. And for those who are CPAs, they're steering all over the road right now. I can't believe they don't know the numbers. But, there's the 10% tax bracket, the 12, and then the 22, 24 goes up to 32. So there's a lot that goes into kind of doing the math on should you convert, what happens if you want to go ahead and pay the taxes on that right now to get Uncle Sam out of your back pocket. You might go up a bracket or two, and that's a game we'd like to have a discussion with you about. And really starting with somebody who is a retirement planning advisor. Most of the time, Americans will go into their CPA and say, I want to pay as little in taxes this year as possible every single year. And everybody does. The problem is if you continue putting off paying as much in your taxes, especially in tax deferred accounts, eventually you are going to have to take that money out. So what Dale is saying is we're in some of the lower tax brackets in history right now as compared to when Reagan was making movies. It was a 90% tax bracket. He would only make 2 a year because if he made 3, it was charged 90% in taxes. He's like, I'm not working for free.
And that was just federal, not state.
Yeah. So, and then state of California taxes, whatever those state taxes were living. Yeah, he may actually be backwards. I think it would have been upside down if he made a third movie every year.
Yeah. So simple point. A friend of mine just the other day asked me, do you do taxes? And I said, no. You see somebody like a CPA accountant that does tax preparation. What I do is tax planning. I help you see how to lower or eliminate unnecessary taxes in your future. So the accountant, CPAs are going to show you how to lower your taxes today. I'm not worried about today. I'm worried about your future because tax rates are on sale right now with these low tax rates, tax brackets.
I am worried about this future because we have to take a very short break. But I want to tell our listeners they can call the phone number right now. No cost. It's not going to interrupt the show. We're not putting you out on the air, but it's going to go to our secure call center and you can set up an appointment to sit down and speak with Dale Sudis and put together your retirement plan at no cost to you. There's no cost to sit down with Dale, no cost for you to ask his questions. How much information do you need to set that retirement date? Just like the wedding date. When do you want it? 6 months, a year from now, 5 years from now? What would make you feel comfortable? What do you need to know? Let Dale show you that information for you. 833-856-1382. We'll be right back right after this.
Do you know how you'll generate income from your investments along with your Social Security in retirement? In our opinion, it's never too early to start the income planning process for your future. An income plan can help you work towards creating a steady stream of income to support you throughout your retirement years. Don't leave your financial future to chance. Take control today and start income planning for your retirement. Call 833-856-1382.
Welcome back to Retire Your Way with financial advisor Dale Sutis of Sutis Financial. Dale, we're talking about setting the date. What kind of date are you talking about?
Oh, I like it when you say that. It made me think, okay, so you find the love of your life and you're, oh, she's so good or he's so cute or whatever, and you ask and she says yes to getting married. Mm-hmm. Do you just run out the next weekend and go get married? No, she wants a wedding. So what do? You set a date and then you plan for it. You start getting all your ducks in a row. You know, okay, we need a venue. We need a place we could do the wedding at. We need, invitations. We need who are we going to invite and who's going to be involved. And you do different things to get ready for that date. So the point that we're talking about is, are you getting yourself ready for your retirement date? Those of you listening who are already retired, okay, and if you're at all worried about, is my money going to still last? We don't just work with people before they retire. So set a time, and many of those I talk to have already retired, and they just want to double check that their ducks are in a row and that they can stay married, so to speak, stay retired, right? So we'll call me a retirement, what's that, a marriage counselor, a retirement counselor. Yeah, that would be good. Anyway, my point is pick a date. To pick a date, you need to know what things need to be in order for not only the wedding to be good, but for that marriage to last, you and retirement, that is.
And what about when it rains before the wedding? Okay, can we take into account some of the things that go wrong, like taxes or things that change?
I know a couple. They were planning to get married in a hot air balloon up in Napa, and the night of their wedding, it rained, and so they couldn't. But they still got married the next day at a beautiful park where they would have been after the balloon landed, hopefully. Yeah. And that worked out. So they decided, okay. Oh, and then when they went on their honeymoon, okay, on a cruise, the cruise ship in the Caribbean was diverted over to the, Western Caribbean instead of the Eastern Caribbean because there was a hurricane visiting Eastern Caribbean. And they made it home safe without, getting hurt by any hurricane. Okay. So I remember telling somebody about that, and this lady says, well, it's good luck to have rain on your wedding day. And I said, well, for that couple, it must have been great having a hurricane on their honeymoon. And then they tried to go get in the hot air balloon, or at least get a hot air balloon ride on their first year anniversary, but the weather didn't cooperate. So they haven't been up, from what I can tell, they haven't been up in a hot air balloon yet, but I think they're happily married and they don't care about the hot air balloon. Okay,
well, now to pull this thing back in for our listeners.
Back into the rainy days.
The rainy days. But rainy days before retirement. What happens if the stock market drops? What happens if taxes double? What happens if there is a reduction in Social Security? Do you take into account the rainy days for folks in retirement? That might be one of the reasons why folks have a hard time setting the date, because they're worried about what they don't know might happen.
Or how about the many, in the early years of me helping people, and, I could go way back, we're talking 30 plus years maybe, and ones who tell me all the things they want to do in retirement. I'm going to go fishing, and I'm going to buy this boat, or I'm going to join the country club, I'm going to travel, or whatever it is, right? And then I say, okay, everything looks good, and they retire. And then year after year, I see their money just grows. Well, what have you been doing? Well, no, we're just kind of sticking around home or helping the kids. And, well, what about all this boat and fishing and travel and whatever? No, well, just in case. We're just in case. And so their money grows and grows. They die, and it went to the kids, and what do the kids do? All those fun things the parents were dreaming about doing. So I don't want my families that I work with to live that just in case retirement where, just in case we don't do anything and we don't spend our money. No, when you know you have the money to spend and to do the fun things you want to do, and you're not going to run out of money, you've got plenty of other money for the so-called just in cases that don't come. Again, you could be happily retired and keep on going.
Yeah. Let me go back to something you said 10, 15 minutes ago. We're talking about conversion, and I still think it confuses some folks on taxes and so forth. The conversion meaning paying the taxes on the tax-deferred accounts, and maybe not in total. I mean, there's people who have hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars in tax-deferred savings accounts. But
remember what a tax-deferred account is. That could be your IRA, 401k, 403bs, things like that. So I think tax-deferred for common people driving around is they're looking to try to figure out what that is. But hopefully you know what it is.
Yeah.
But you got to get out of those. You have to get all the way out. But we want to look at how do we help you get Uncle Sam out of your retirement accounts, because I've had people, I got $1 million saved in my 401k or 200,000 or whatever. Okay. And I just tell them, well, close it and see how much you get to keep.
Yeah.
Uncle Sam, Uncle Newsom get their share, right? So how do we get Uncle Sam and Uncle Newsom out of your retirement? It's by doing some Roth conversions and in a practical way. Then even if you're using some of that to provide some additional guaranteed income in your future, that income would be tax-free as well. So there's some neat strategies to use where it makes sense to pay the tax today on some of that or all of it, depending, or as quickly as we can while we're in low brackets.
Get your comprehensive, complimentary Retire Your Way review by calling 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Yeah. And honestly, folks, just letting people know that these are some of the lowest brackets in tax history right now. And we don't know where they're going to go. Right now, as Dale was talking about over this last half hour, we know that these brackets will last through the end of this year, for sure, at this moment. That could change. They could stay the same. They could become extended, or they could go up. And for the younger folks out there who think it's going to go down, I think you're sadly mistaken. I don't think taxes are going down.
Yeah. No. And technically, the tax code that Trump signed in is supposed to revert back up next year, January of 2026. And there's something on that conversions. Again, people just don't realize that Uncle Sam's their partner in a lot of their retirement. And sadly, I see at times too many people who most all of their savings is that way, and they have very little, that is non-taxable available. So if something big happens and they need a new roof or a new, heating air unit, sometimes they're taking out of those taxable counts.
Along with your monthly income spend need. So let's say you're taking your $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and then you need a $15,000 for, a water heater, or $25,000 for, half of a new roof or something. Where are you going to be taking those monies from? And if they're taxable, then you have to also account for those taxes. I think, Dale, you might enjoy this. Think of your tax-deferred accounts as a hot air balloon. When would you prefer to have Uncle Sam jump out of that balloon for you? When it's higher or lower, right? We want to get out, hopefully, before we sprain our ankles on the fall.
And keep in mind, I'm married and, it's just going to go to my wife. Well, now you've just created a bigger tax problem for your spouse. If you die, you're going from the low married tax rates, tax brackets, to the high single tax rate. So now if that person still needs about the same income and they're pulling, the same chunks out of these tax deferred accounts, they're paying a lot more in tax. So people don't understand. It's nice they got that nest egg, but now it's time to get Uncle Sam out. And if you're younger and you still have years from retirement, then I would be coaching you to stop using tax deferred and use Roth 401ks, Roth 403bs, whatever. You put some after-tax money in it so that can grow, and now the growth and what you put in is tax-free to use down the road. So there's a lot of good strategies to keep Uncle Sam out of, your nest egg. And for our kids and grandkids, there's a movie we freely share. We give you a promo code so you can own the movie and see it. It's called The Power of Zero. It's the same producer put out The Baby Boomer Dilemma, and it's excellent. And it shows people, number one, why our kids need to save, keeping Uncle Sam completely out of their retirement, and how to do it. So it's it's not as exciting as the other movie. It's more technical, but it's well worth watching.
I will admit that, for folks who are listening, man, they've talked about taxes for a long time. It is a little bit like chess, but it can be exciting once you start to understand the nuances of it. It is complicated at first. It seems like there's just too much information. You're never going to get good at it. But that's why you talk with somebody who does this all of the time, especially who focuses on the retirement planning, moving the pieces around the board so you get to keep more of what you've already saved. You're not at the whim of just what the taxes are. There are things that you can do to control your own tax rates. Let Dale and his team help you figure that out. Give us a call, 833-856-1382. We'll do your absolutely free tax review. If you are serious about retirement planning, Dale and his team would be glad to talk to you. Call 833-856-1382. If you want to know more about Dale and exactly who he is and how they do things, you can also go to the website, Soutas.com, Soutas.com, or write Dale directly, and we'll read your question on the air without your name if you want us to. Dale at Soutas.com. Dale, the @ symbol, Soutas.com. For Dale Soutas, I'm Spike Spangle. Thanks for listening to Retire Your Way, California. We'll be back next week. As a valued radio listener of Retire Your Way, Dale and his entire team of retirement professionals invite you to schedule your very own complimentary retirement plan review session. 833-856-1382 is the number for you to call. If you don't have a retirement strategy mapped out that includes low-fee investment elections, tax minimization strategies, decumulation plans that will last as long as you need them to, then call for your very own retirement review session, complimentary for our valued radio listeners. Are you able to lower your taxes in retirement? Are you unclear about your Social Security, Medicare, investment fees and risk, or how to produce guaranteed lifetime income so your lifestyle and goals don't have to be changed with the ups and downs of the market or taxes? Call Dale Soutas with Soutas Financial and be confident you can retire your way. Schedule your own comprehensive and complimentary retirement review session. Don't just live in retirement, thrive. Call 833-856-1382. That's 833-856-1382.
Investment advisory services are offered through Foundations Investment Advisors, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The content provided is intended for informational and educational purposes only. The views, statements, and opinions expressed herein are those of the individual speakers and are not necessarily those of Foundations and its affiliates. The information contained herein does not constitute an offer to sell any securities or represent an express or implied opinion or endorsement of any specific investment opportunity, offering, or issuer. Any discussion of performance or returns is not indicative of future results. Any discussions of specific strategies are for informational purposes only and have been provided to help determine whether they may be appropriate for your specific situation. If applicable, the primary goal in converting retirement assets into a Roth IRA is to reduce the future tax liability on the distributions you take in retirement or on the distributions of your beneficiaries. Each individual investor's situation is different, and any ideas provided may not be appropriate for your particular circumstances. Comments regarding a particular client's experience may or may not be the same as another client's experience, and is not an indication that any client or prospective client will experience the same or a higher level of future success or performance. Foundations only transacts business in states where it is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement of the firm by securities regulators and does not mean the advisor has achieved a specific level of skill or ability. Nothing herein constitutes a recommendation that any security, portfolio of securities, or investment strategy is suitable for any specific person. No legal or tax advice is provided. Please review your retirement, tax, and legacy planning strategies with a legal or tax professional before transacting or implementing any strategy discussed herein. Any comments regarding safe and secure investments and guaranteed income streams refer only to fixed insurance products. They do not refer in any way to investment advisory products. Rates and guarantees provided by insurance products and annuities are subject to the financial strength of the issuing company, not guaranteed by any bank or the FDIC. This is not endorsed or affiliated with the Social Security Administration, any federal Medicare program, nor any U.S. government agency. If applicable, we do not offer every plan in your area, and contacting us at the phone numbers provided herein will direct you to a licensed insurance agent. Any information we provide is limited to those plans we do offer in your area. Please contact Medicare.gov or 1-800-MEDICARE to get information on all of your options. All rights reserved.